we go.
That's really going to help me a lot.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Senior Tech Coffee. I'm your host, Patrick Baker. And today we're here to talk about older adults and social media. And I'd like to introduce you to my special guest, Joyce Foistel of Boomer's Social Media Tutor. And just a little bit of information about myself. I've been in IT for 30 years. I provide IT education and tech support for older adults and small businesses. You can check out more information about me at my website, primeoflifetech.com. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to let me just make sure that I've got sharing. There we go. So you should be able to share now, Joyce.
Cool. And before I go into my PowerPoint, I want to just ask all three of you really, to tell me which sites that you tend to use the most, but also maybe which sites you have the most questions about. Now, Ralph is already going to be paying me some money soon to help him one-on-one with LinkedIn, but I mean, just generally speaking, I mean, this could help me kind of gauge to some extent what direction even to go within my PowerPoint. So why don't we start with you, Teresa? Just tell me, even a little bit about yourself professionally, and then what sites you're most interested in. Thank you.
Well, I work for a state program, California Phones. So we provide the free telephones and accessories for people with special needs, like hearing, vision, mobility, speech, and memory. So if you know of anyone in California, send them our way so we can help them out. So I did join Alignable. Of course, it's all the free versions. So Alignable for free, LinkedIn for free. So there's always limitations. And then last night I decided, I'm going to do an extra a new Facebook account, just so that, people that don't really want to have access to my personal friends, you can send them to that site. But then it was like, just finding the privacy part, it was like going back and forth. I'm like, where is it? And, you have to get to the right part to click on it, and then it drops down. But then it was a little frustrating.
So what you're saying, Teresa, you created a second personal Facebook account.
Yes.
Not so sure that I would advise that, but that's your choice, of course. It confuses your friends.
I put a different name. I mean, I put a nickname.
It's a way, but I just want to say this, and we'll go around the circle. Facebook kind of sniffs out sometimes when someone's using a personal account strictly for business purposes, and they've been known to shut down those accounts. I know a friend who did that for a church, for a Toastmasters club, pretending they were people, but they were actually entities. So I'm just saying that you could try it. I've seen mortgage people do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. Maybe, Facebook won't get wise to you doing it. So you just run that risk. That's all.
Oh, I put my information the same. I mean, my birthday, everything. I couldn't figure out how to, if my birthday shows on there the year or not, because I know
before. You know what? I'll tell you guys this now, and I'll do it again at the end. Let's set up, when we're done with this, a free 30-minute session, you and me, and we can just go over that so we don't have to take the time today, okay? And okay. I'll make sure and put my information into the chat with that Calendly link right now as you guys are going around. Okay, so are you on, just curiously, are you on Twitter or are you on Instagram, Teresa?
Nope.
Okay, but I will
Facebook.
Okay, yeah, right. So I will speak about them generally because, I was asked to do kind of this overarching, view, but I won't take a lot of time. Ralph, why don't you go next then?
Okay. In terms of the social media for my business, it's LinkedIn. I mean, I do have a personal Facebook, personal Instagram. I guess Alignable. I'm a member. I haven't really delved into it or tried to expand on it very much. So yeah, I guess Alignable is out there, and I know that some people use it. So I just haven't explored that one. So primarily then in the business side of things, it's just LinkedIn.
Okay. So chances are when we get to the second part of the time together, we'll focus just on those two sites. Okay, so Patrick, what about you?
Excuse me. I have LinkedIn, a free LinkedIn account, and I have a business page for my business as well on LinkedIn. And on Facebook, I actually also have like a personal Facebook account and a business Facebook account. So I mean, I'm still
But to
still
clarify,
me.
the business page, I'm thinking it came through your personal account, Patrick.
Well,
So,
let me back up just a sec. So
yeah.
I actually have two Facebook accounts.
Oh, okay.
I have one that I share with my business associates, and then I have my other one that I've had since 2014 or something. And it's my newer Facebook account, which I only started this year for professional purposes, mostly because I didn't really want to share my past on Facebook with my business potential future business associates. Not that there's anything untoward or anything. It's just that I just
You
wanted
wanted
that
to just have
separation.
I'm not saying that it's against their terms to do to Facebook kind of business presenting, and yeah, you're kind of personal. It's just that I'll never forget one time when one of the alternative business networking group leaders, I saw that what was it? There was something confused me, and here it turns out he had done the very same thing, and I know he came up as a potential friend, and I wrote him home. I said, "Oh my gosh, Craig," I think it was Craig Deese. I says, "Craig, is there somebody pretending to be you on Facebook?" And he goes, "No, that's just my other account for my real friends," or something. Just the way he said it was kind of awkward. I thought, oh, so what am I chopping over here? So I'm only in your business side, and I can't know like the real Craig personal side. So you just simply run the risk of people, not so much you, Teresa, if you called it a different name, if you called it some name other than Teresa Tong, you just run the risk of confusing people. And I think it's very common what you both have done. So I'm not saying necessarily stop doing it. I'm just saying that you can limit. Again, I'll go into this more in the 30 minutes, but you could really ratchet down what anybody sees about you in any possible way you can, so that they, I suppose I guess it would take a long time though when you're older like me or any of us to go all the way back in the years, to change all those posts to public. So theoretically, you're right, Patrick. People could go back nosing around in your past posts. Gosh, they should
Sure.
go away, if you ask me. But at any rate, so let's just launch right into this, okay? So here we go. I'm going back to the beginning and bear with me a minute. All right. So what I'm going to talk about are, as I said, wait a minute. Wait. I haven't shared you. My bad. Okay. Share screen. Now we got it. Okay. Everybody all right? Can you see now? Cool. All right. So actually, for me, it's easier if I'm not going to do a full screen. So just never mind. I feel like the Wizard of Oz. Never mind the man behind the curtain. Never mind these little tiles on the left. Okay, just look at the main part of the page. This is the informal class, so to speak. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Reasons to use them, to use these social media sites, format of the sites, privacy. Okay, now we're going to skip that slide. Why be on social media? I think it sounds like the four of us are, well, at least the three of you, are on Facebook a lot for business reasons, maybe not so much personal, but a lot of people, that's why they get into social media, and why probably, at least we did, like you and I, Patrick, and maybe Ralph too. With Facebook, you do it to be in touch with your people in your life. And I'll go into that more when I get to Facebook. Share information of interest to followers, friends, whatever. Patrick's the king of doing that. Learn new things and ideas. Points 2 and 3 really go together. And connect with new people. Now, LinkedIn would be the safest place in general to connect with new people, even if you've never met them before. That's entirely possible, but I still would be careful there. So going on, there are some similarities among all social media sites. All of them will have a bio, personal page, profile. They'll call it different things. On Twitter and Instagram, it is like less than 200 characters. It is like teeny tiny bit of information. On Facebook, there is the bio section right under your picture. Now that is 90 characters, But then the About section, you can put in all kinds of information, again, restricting it by the audience within Facebook you want to see it. But you can tell people where you're from and where you went to college, if you did that, and, you know, I mean, just all kinds of things. LinkedIn it's got all kinds of opportunities to talk about yourself. Then the terminology, Facebook friends, LinkedIn connections. If it's Instagram or Twitter, it's followers. All of them have a news feed where you're going to see posts from the people, entities you're connected to, or there could be paid ads. You can communicate privately through messaging, internal messaging, or of course, publicly through comments. They all have settings. Again, this is just an overview. Now, Facebook. In my life, when I got into Facebook in 2008, I was so grateful that a friend of mine from Toastmasters invited me. Toastmasters being a leadership and speaking organization. You see, here I am in Lakewood, Colorado, with not a family member within spitting distance for the whole state. Like Patrick, you got family in town, right? Ralph, you just had your son move, what, to Texas? Well, you're a nomad anyway, so I don't know about you. And Teresa, I don't know you really as well as the two gentlemen. But my family members are from Australia, you know, to Wisconsin and beyond. And friends, I lived in Wisconsin the first 46 years. I have a whole entourage of people there that I still want to stay in touch with. So that's why Facebook has just, to me, been a godsend, a lifeline to know what's going on with these people. Also, there's so many groups on Facebook. It's really more where the action has gone in a lot of ways. Whether it's a hobby or an interest, whatever it might be. RVing, I'm sure, Ralph, there's plenty of groups on Facebook if you decided to get into that, just saying. So that is great. Some are private, some are public. There, of course, are all kinds of special offers if you like to shop at Target, and Target's going to tell you about sales and things. So or anything, or like, say, my church. My church has been doing a Facebook live stream of its services. So people who live far away or have underlying health conditions, they can watch the services through our Facebook live stream. I mean, that is so cool. So there are just so many good things about Facebook. Then again, there's a lot of really annoying things. So then we go to Instagram. Instagram is the only one of the four that if you want to put up your own post, you got to go to your app on a smartphone or an Instagram. But none of you are too much on Instagram. So I'm just going to skip through this, kind of go through it quickly. It's very visual oriented, minimal use of text. Again, good for family members and friends to share photos. What's cool with Instagram and Twitter, set it up as a private account so that you have just really a limited number of people that you're going to be engaging with. But conversely, with Instagram and Twitter, you can really follow anybody, especially if you're oriented toward the news, politics, sports, things like that. Okay, LinkedIn. That's what it sounds like all four of us are most oriented toward in many ways, certainly for business. It is hands down the most logical site to get involved with when it comes to business and professional use. You rarely see posts about people's personal lives on LinkedIn, I would say. That very uncommon. It's a wonderful way to stay in touch with former colleagues like you, Ralph. You had those years when you were project manager. Are you going to be Facebook friends with those people? Not necessarily. Even if you did Facebook, right? You're saying, no, I've said goodbye. Don't let the door hit you, when you leave, kind of thing. So, but LinkedIn, you want to be, who knows? Those people might know someone needs a bookkeeper, right? So when you, Teresa, you perhaps worked other places before you worked with this California phones company. So you want to stay in touch with those people on LinkedIn because, my goodness, they could know someone with special needs that could really benefit from your phone service. And then, speaking of which, I'll stay with you, Teresa, there's so much information you could be sharing, not in a salesy way, but in a kind of, did you know, here's a tip, the same with bookkeeping. I mean, Patrick's already the king of this. So if you want to follow someone that's consistently providing solid information, follow Patrick and take a note from his playbook. He's really good at this. Next would be Twitter. Again, I'm going to briefly touch on Twitter. It is the most reliable place to go for breaking news. Don't go to Google, go to Twitter. Twitter will tell you what's happening in the moment. Really good for following sports figures, celebrities, politicians. You can follow these people depending on their settings. Just follow them. You can tweet to them. I had a client, and right there in the session, she tweeted to some big time journalist that she always read his columns. And within minutes, she gets a tweet back. Now, it probably wasn't the journalist himself, but his helper, writing back to her and thanking her for her observation about what he writes about. So it's pretty awesome if you like that kind of thing. Me personally, I don't have the time for it. Now, privacy and other settings. I'm just going to throw in a few. Again, I'm using Patrick as an example. He did a great post recently about two-factor authentication. I've used it for a long time on Facebook. I highly recommend it, even really for LinkedIn. It keeps, most of the time, it will keep other people from getting into your account, logging into your account. And it has to do with having a text come to you through, not a text, could be an email, but a code come to you. Also, if you do Instagram or Twitter, consider a private account. You can restrict the number of photos and tagging of you. Again, this is all in the settings. One that could apply to really all of us are the notifications. Whenever I have an account, like tomorrow, I'm seeing you, right? So we'll go over your settings first. So we want to make sure you're not being bombarded, as you probably are, with emails from LinkedIn. You don't want to be seeing unnecessary notifications even within the LinkedIn site and the little bell icon. And this would go like Teresa, for you were talking about being a little confused about the privacy and other settings. I definitely want to help you with that, because with Facebook, the same, it is when you get into that notification section, extremely overwhelming, I think. And there's blocking. I had a guy just this week, oh my gosh, he sends me this sort of oblique, I'll use a fancy word here for a minute, email going, I don't know if you remember me, we were in touch through LinkedIn and we were going to have coffee and then I didn't hear back from you. Okay, so it sounded like it could have been a business thing, right? So I write him back and I said, well, please refresh my memory, tell me a little more. Then he launches into this thing about being single and he'd like to really get to know me. And I'm like, oh, yike, oh no. So I write him back and I say, the reason you didn't hear from me is because I blocked you on LinkedIn and I reported you to LinkedIn for violating their terms of services. And I'm married and don't you ever email me again. Boo. Okay, so see, it does happen there. I have proof just this week. And I'm 71 years old, for Christ's sake. Well, maybe I preserved well. I don't know. But oh my gosh, block that dude as fast as I can. Okay, so now we're done with that story. So I want to take you over into a few sites just to show you some things. Okay, all right, Facebook. Okay, let's just start with that. Here we go. Now, remember I told you folks about my church and how we do stuff. But here's another good example of some. I'm going to have to move this down below here, I think. Thank you. All righty, so here is my Toastmasters Club. Well, one of them, because I'm kind of a junkie for Toastmasters. And we had a meeting on Saturday. So I'm the one that handles our business page. See here, Excelsior Advanced Toastmasters Club. So I put up this post about what we did in our meeting. And I talked about all who spoke. I spoke, 3 other people spoke, blah, blah, blah. One person who was there took this, not the best picture in the world, but it's decent. And then down here, I commented so that I could tag the people. Let's see if you can see it. Here we go. See here, I came in as myself, and then I tagged all these people so that it could appear on their page if they allow it to. Or then I emailed everybody in the club and said, please send out, please share it. So you send out 3 people when me and 2 others have shared it to their personal Facebook page. And look at this. This is less than 24 hours since I put up this post and 245 people have been reached. That is not too shabby, really. And 22 engagements, meaning people liked it, kind of looked at it, really. So that is a great example for what you can do on Facebook for an entity. And I'm going to take you actually also very quickly just over to my personal page. Okay, so here's what I meant about the 90 character. So that's for you, Teresa, Patrick, you two especially, where you would have it very work-oriented like I do, right? And then here in the about, and you were talking about your birthday and who sees what. See all these? This is like everybody sees it, only I see it. My friends can see it. So see, you can adjust all of this information, okay? So now I'm going to go over to Instagram and just show you a beautiful picture I know you got you and your wife get out a lot. Patrick into the mountains, and Ralph, you get everywhere. So this is just a gorgeous picture of Grand Lake area that was shared by a friend, a person I follow on Instagram. And then here are just some people like, oh my gosh, see, she hadn't interviewed me on a blog a podcast. I should follow her. And Suzanne, that's a client. See, so it's kind of cool. They'll suggest people to you. You know, I know them. And when I said they don't have much text, I meant it. See, so here, notice this, I can like it. I could even put a comment like, oh, let's see if I can make a comment. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. I can do that. But I didn't think I could actually make a post. Oh, just love the area around Grand Lake and hope to get there in the fall someday. Okay, so now I'm commenting, public act, right? And I'm posting that. So anyone else who sees this post that Cheryl Ilda put up can see my comment. But you can't, the weird thing, can I see the problem with Instagram? You can't edit, but I can delete it if I'm like, oh, that was a stupid comment. I don't want to say that. But see these little things, these are the hashtags. Hashtags, very big on Instagram and Twitter, not so much, but these still are used certainly on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So this is just, and here are her other posts. So I just don't want to spend any more time on Instagram again, because I don't think we're going to need it much for today. So next I'll go into Twitter, and then we'll hang out on LinkedIn. So
Grace,
Twitter,
can I ask a question?
yes, please do, yeah.
If you go back to Facebook for a second.
Yes, sir, yeah.
On the post that you were showing us.
Oh yeah, with the Excelsior people, yeah.
Yeah, from the Toastmasters group. Could you explain a little bit, or in a little more detail, what is the difference between someone your post reached so many people and your post was engaged with by some other people? What is the engagement?
I really understand that myself. As I understand it, reached means it was served up to them in their let me go look at this.
Their feed?
In their feed. But
yeah.
Engaged means they actually, where is my insights? Here we go. All my insights. Let's just look at this. So if we go to the insights and we go down to here's reach. So this will show you reach. And then engagement is followers, likes. See, like would be an engagement. So I think I should really know the answer to this because I teach.
That's okay.
But I think it just means that there was a little more attention given to it than the reach. Was just that it was kind of like in a nanosecond they might have seen it, but it showed up on their Facebook page, which, trust me, is hard for a post from a page. They get so little, so little action, really. So where's post? So here post. Let's go down and look at this again. So here, here's engagement. Okay. So engagement is a reaction, a click. Oh, they clicked on it. Okay, there we go. So all of us have clicked on something but not done anything, right? Not liked, not commented. We just kind of read about it. So it's like, there's a book in front of me. I see the book. You open up the book, you look at the page maybe. Does that help a bit? I think that's really what it is. I'm glad you asked that question. That's a really important question. Okay, so now I wanted to go, okay, so I was good, I'm done. Oh yeah, Twitter. Okay, just show you a couple things about Twitter. Again, you have very little information. See, this is it, like 200 characters. That is all you have. So then if you scroll down again, see, they give me suggested entities to follow, see happening. Oh, don't even get me going on a certain president. Okay, so I'll just quickly pass over this. But you can see that this is what's going, but what's popular, what's trending, how to protect yourself in COVID. So see, this is so incredible. So you have all this information. There's Susan, man, yay. So I mostly just post my blog posts here. I don't know how much traction I'm really getting with them, but I figure it doesn't hurt. I know I could use Twitter a little bit more effectively than I do. Okay, so did I lose? Oh, there's LinkedIn. Okay, So I wanted to show you, let me move this. I wanted to show you one of the ways I like to use LinkedIn, and we'll make sure to answer your questions, comments. This is very fluid here. But here, this is as of just an hour ago. So here's somebody who wants to be in a group that I kind of loosely help to manage. So I can go into here and then I can decide, you know, whether to put her into the group or not. So that's what happens when you apply, you know, essentially apply to go into a group, is that one of the admins is going to look at you and say, okay, check, she's in Colorado, she's got a picture, I can approve her. You know, is this now? Alicia Scott, women construction owner, no picture. I'm technically not supposed to approve her, but I kind of have a heart. You know, maybe there's just something she doesn't know about her settings, so I'm just going to let her in anyway. This lady, Greater Seattle, I'm sorry, Veronica, I can't let you in unless sometimes I'll look down and see if she went to college here or something. But no, I think she's just not going to get in, so I'm going to deny her. So, okay, so that's just one thing I do. But this is really more important. Here's Ken Weibel. Have you ever met him, Patrick? Or maybe Ralph? He's a ABNG guy, Alternative Business Networking. So at any rate, so say he was a buddy of mine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Ken, that's so sweet. And I can go down here and then just write in this little note, this little area. No, I gotta like get you back. I could write a little personal note to him, okay? But let's say conversely, he's kind of a well-known person in the cooking world. So I think I might join all of his other admirers and publicly comment here. I could say, oh my gosh, terrific news, Ken, about your new position with Upper Crust Catering. In fact, I think I know some other people with that company. I think that's Jerry George. Anyways, it's one of those small world things. So now when I post this, anybody else coming into this can see, oh, Joyce Feustel. Oh yeah, I was trying to get in touch with her. Or I might say, oh my gosh, Mike, I haven't seen him in forever. I might just randomly, not this minute, drop him a quick message and say, hey, let's have a virtual cup of coffee, Mike. How in the heck have you been? I mean, I've known this man since before I started my business. So that is like, well, maybe right. He was at the event where I came up with the business name. So that had to be like 10 years ago, right? So isn't that neat? I would just happen to stumble upon him here through this mutual connection with Ken. I feel like I'm in Manimal, Wisconsin, population 1,000 people. You know, seriously, that's what's so cool about LinkedIn. Is like somebody, you're only like 3 degrees of separation at the most from anybody. So that's what I think is so fun. Or here's this lady who found me on LinkedIn. We had this lovely chat. I mean, look at this beautiful post she writes about me. I mean, smart, engaging, well, you know, I'm just all like blushing, right? And I recommend following her. And then it turns out that she had worked at the Better Business Bureau. No surprise there. Suzanne, I knew her back when I was there working at the Better Business Bureau from 2000 to 03. Oh my gosh, I could write her and say, hey, how in the heck are you, Suzanne? So I don't know. You can spend a lot of time on this, so watch out. You know, you got to be careful. So, I mean, I just want to just go. I want to actually stop sharing for a minute. What I want to do, Facebook bought Instagram. That's correct, Teresa. Yes, they did. Does it cost anything to set up a business page, Ralph? Nothing. No cost to set up a business page on LinkedIn. That's called a company page. And we can go into that in our session at some point if you want. And on Facebook, it's called a business page. That's what Patrick has. That's what I have. Oh yeah, Patrick's already been there. He's gotten it, my back. Any other questions? And comments, experience? I mean, I want to see, because already, Ralph, you can get an extra 30 minutes just because you're on this call. See, no charge. There you go. If we want to go longer, I won't ding you more.
You know, I've always considered Facebook to be my communications with friends and family. Okay, so that's why there's a distinct dividing line. So if I were to create a Facebook business page, I'd want to make sure that it's absolutely distinctly divided, you know, between my professional world and my private world.
Exactly. And many people I've worked with are in your same frame, same point of view. And so there is no reason you have to reference on your Ralph Penny personal site any connection to your business. Just don't ever bring it up. Conversely, on your business page, really, technically, outside of maybe seeing your picture, which I do recommend, you are a one-man operation. You won't. There's no reference to your personal page. Now, theoretically, if they were really nosy, they could go over to your personal page. But if you don't ever get to be friends with your clients, which is entirely possible, you could just say to them, I really have a very small circle of people I connect with on Facebook. So if someone friends you, you might, who's a client, let's say, you could write them back and say, just that. You know, I'm happy. That's why I created this business page. Is so I'm delighted to have you liking my page and seeing what's up and my cool, you know, bookkeeping tips and such. But there's no, you can make that line very, very clear. I'm really glad you asked it just like you did. Absolutely. Let's see, what else? Just what other general things do people have? So Teresa, was it mostly the privacy and settings that was throwing you off on Facebook?
Yes, I was just going back and forth, up and down, and
well, you know,
because some of them is like, do I want just friends or friends of friends? But I was like, I kind of want to have both, but then it didn't have that option, and I didn't want to check everybody, so.
Well, if that, that's a really good point. So if you are using this second account for more of a public way, I would have all your outgoing type of posts be public. Make them public. Now, but what you can do, Teresa, and this is what I'll help you with, you can set it up so that only a friend could comment on a public post. You see what I'm saying? So there's a setting within your own timeline and tagging and privacy section about who can comment. There's a part like who can write on your page, like happy birthday or something like that on your personal page. And then there's also a part about who can comment on a post, the public post. So they can see it. There's no problem, I think. I mean, you have such an important service. Why wouldn't you want any? See, the thing of it is, too, Teresa, if you don't make the audience for a post public, then nobody can share that post to other people who might need your phone service. So therefore, I think it would be way better for you to have all your posts on this public kind of facing type of personal account, a public oriented one, be public. But then you don't necessarily want to be weirded out by some creepy guy or gal making commentary on these posts. You see the difference? I seriously am happy to walk you through that. And the other thing I'm going to do for all four of you, because I don't know that even you have it, Patrick, I have your emails. After I'm done here, I'm going to email you 3 documents that I recently, just as of like Sunday, I think it was, I created a Facebook groups. Well, I had a Facebook groups, but I had to do a major rehaul. So because of this new look of Facebook, which all of us are just being pushed into, as I understand, by the end of this month, I put Facebook for Beginners. That's a 50-page guide to just Facebook 101. Then there's Facebook groups that goes into how Facebook groups are set up, being in them, and then creating them and running them. And then Facebook business pages. So you'll all have that. Facebook business pages runs about 40 pages, 45. Groups runs about 19 or 20, 19 pages, I think. So again, they're only as current as the moment we're in. And then LinkedIn, as I was saying earlier, now they're doing some major rehab. So I'll just have to sit tight and wait till that rolls out. But see, with Facebook, we could, all of us, go into that new look as long ago as April. But I had resisted it because I didn't like it. But finally I decided if I'm the person who trains on this stuff, I gotta just suck it up and use it and understand it and then help other people understand it.
Joyce, does Instagram and Twitter have the same personal versus business page availability?
Cool. Thank you for asking it just like you did. The cool thing about Twitter and Instagram is you can have a completely separate account for your personal side of, say you're a big, and say you're traveling around and you take all these pictures. You think, I think I'd like a little Instagram account. That would be kind of fun, to share with especially the younger set because they're so Instagram oriented. And you could set that up, Ralph, as a private account only for your friends and family to see those, to connect with you as followers, them to follow you and you follow them. I don't think probably for your bookkeeping company, you would have a separate, say, Instagram account. I don't think it lends itself so well to Instagram, but let's say it was more visual oriented, like yours could be theoretically, Teresa, I'm guessing. So you could have it just, and say you had 2 or 3 businesses, you could have a separate account for each of those businesses on Instagram, just like you could have separate business pages for each of them on LinkedIn or on Facebook. Does that make sense then? I think that's what I would do for you with the Instagram. If you were going to use it, I would just, and I could help you with that. If we could set that up in 10, 15 minutes and you could get your settings so they were ratcheted down. Because otherwise, all kinds of strange people are going to start following you on Instagram.
Yeah, I do have a Twitter account and an Instagram account.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, but I never ever check or, Twitter. I never send out any tweets, so I might as well just drop that off the
I think
face
you're
of the
probably,
earth.
if I wasn't a tutor on this stuff, I would close out my Twitter account. I would close it out because I really don't use it other than to share my blog posts. The problem is, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and then my Instagram account, it's again, all my personal friends and family, and that's all the stuff I see on there. I haven't posted anything to my friends for ages.
Well, I've noticed a lot of people don't post on Instagram. Let me go over to Instagram again and show you something. A lot of people just sort of, I don't stalk, I don't like that word so much, but they just watch other people's stuff. They don't necessarily say that much. But if I go up to here, watch carefully. So if I go over to here, and then I want to go into my, see, this will tell me stuff that's going on, right? And I want to go into here. See, that's where you can go in. And for example, you can make an account. See right here, Ralph? See this? Under privacy and security. You go in, it's easier to see, I think, on the computer than on the phone. And you click this, and that makes your account private. Just doing that. Isn't that easy? I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
One thing that happened to me recently on Facebook is that somebody, did you see that I had somebody impersonating me? See, there it is. So there's Joyce Boyceville social. There was somebody who, if I go here, if you can see this, see how I have Joyce Boyceville social media trainer. Somebody took the R off of that username, took a handful of my photos, 9 of my posts, and started following my Instagram people. My daughter texted me the day this happened, said, "Mom, you already follow me on Instagram, don't you?" And I go, "Yeah." She said, "Well, why is this? It looks like your account wants to follow me." I'm like, "Oh, this isn't good." I get a couple of texts. Well, it turns out this entity was impersonating me on Instagram. So then there's a whole process you can go through to report them. And within 2 hours, that account was gone. You see, I did put this post up about it.
Joyce, why would somebody do that? I mean,
I know,
what's in it for them?
Patrick, do you have any better answers? I think they want to try and insinuate their way into your life and then maybe get other private information from you. They could use to access maybe a bank account or something. What do you think, Patrick? Why do people do that?
To be honest, I don't really understand why people impersonate other people on social media, other than, to potentially get some personally identifying information that could be used, for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't see what the motivation is.
Yeah, me either. It's just most annoying. And I see so many people, especially older people, who are constantly have people come in and take over, not take over, but seem to be impersonating them on Facebook. I see that there. I mean, well, then again, I'm on Facebook a lot more than on Instagram. So it probably is good to even just once a month or something, just check, or just ask your people who are friends, like a daughter or son or whoever, who are on account with you, to say, hey, just would you be on the lookout? Anybody, who starts to follow under what looks like my account. I think most people who are in your inner circle would let you know. So that helps. But yeah, their motivation, other than like just being like prank phone calls. You can remember those, right? Stupid. That's the closest thing I can compare it to. Just people being stupid and just wanting to hurt folks. I wish I knew more about it. By the way, I have, just like Patrick has the Senior Tech Coffee, I mentioned it in my very long info in the chat. Be sure to save the chat, and then for Patrick's got the recording you'll be getting. But I do have a once a month meetup, and Patrick's been a couple of times at least. And my meetup in October is going to be on settings. And it's not exactly going to be sexy or anything, but it'll be going through LinkedIn settings and Facebook settings, and time permitting, we'll get a little bit into Instagram and Twitter. But I'm just going to show people where the settings are, how to use them. LinkedIn just recently revamped the look of their settings. So I'm going to have to study up on that so I can even know where things are, because they were always in the same place since 2006. I don't know what's going on here in 2020. All these weird things happening besides COVID, and the social media sites decide to do, I don't know, maybe they think they got people sitting around looking at them, they'll just make it more interesting or something. Who knows?
Is someone going to move your cheese there on those settings?
Yeah, that's got to be it. My cheese.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I mean, we don't have to go through we have up to an hour if we need it, but, unless there's any other, I mean, I'm happy to stay on and answer more questions. Anybody else? Yeah.
I lost connection. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ralph.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, I lost connection for a second, so I don't have, the chat is empty for me right now. So
Oh, okay, let me put my,
sorry.
Okay, no, I'll put it back in. That happens. Oh, that's so annoying. Go ahead, Ralph. You going to say something?
I'm just kind of stepping back, thinking. I know we've talked a bit about this, and you responded to an email, Joyce. It sounds like focus should first be on LinkedIn to get a LinkedIn, my personal LinkedIn, as well as I think I need to set up a business LinkedIn page.
I think that would be a good idea, actually.
And start the blog thing and the posting, and here's some tips and tricks and things like that. Okay, so LinkedIn, number one. Then go to Facebook and set up a, if you will, a business Facebook page.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, as a number two.
Like and as we're talking more now, I think there's certainly value in having that, because some people, business people, are very Facebook centric, and those spend that much time on LinkedIn. So if you could get, say, people like me and Patrick, good buddies of yours, and I'll show you how you can do this, to be like, how is it called? Well, really, I call it loosely a raving fan, but it's somebody who always wants to see your post first. You can have them see first on their newsfeed, or minimally at least to have them in their little bell icon to always see a post from you. And then also to, so it's mostly in the notifications, I would say, because see first is tricky because people may have a bunch of other favorites. So they're like, oh, really? That's a lot to ask. But just to say, hey, when you check your notifications and you see a post from me, would you do me a favor and just go into that post and look at it? And if it looks like it has some aspect of value to your Facebook friends, please share that out to them. So that is a good way to build even a small following on Facebook is better than in a way what I have. I have about 1,500 likes or fans on my Facebook page, but I get, on the average, I might have, certainly I don't have 245 like I do with my Toastmasters stuff. I might have like 50 or 70 or 80 people see a post on my page. What is that percentage? Like less than 5% of my people who have at one point in their life liked my page. Very few of them. Facebook doesn't show those posts much. So Facebook will say, oh, don't you want to spend money with us, Ralph? And get that post out there. But I don't know that I would, you spend as much money as you want, but you're just getting started. So I think I would rather just get a handful of people kind of be your ambassador, might be a word.
Okay.
Help spread the word about your business.
Good idea.
I think that's good. The more we talk about it, I would agree. Somehow I think there's a link missing from the rest of this. I'm sorry about this. I have to go back and find it for you. Where'd that go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Here is this one on the 13th. I think that link didn't come through. So I'm going to put it in there for you. Okay, there it is. So that's where you sign up, Teresa. So if you want to come, my bad. See it there now if you save your chat. That's where I'll be talking about these settings in more detail. I mean, it's certainly, like I say, I'm happy to do the 30-minute with you. There's a, if you go up here to this calendar link in there, Calendly, that's what you want. Not the one-to-one. I mean, we can do a one-to-one. It's fine. You can just go ahead and sign up for that, or just the other one, that no charge 30 minutes, is that's what I give to the people like that go to any time that I've been blessed as I am today to have a chance to do some sort of a social media training. I offer it. And I've been doing that since May and have helped probably close to 60 people for no charge. That's how I've been giving back during COVID. Yeah. So it's been pretty sweet, really. Made a lot of friends. Been good. I'm so glad that you were up for this, Patrick. And
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll just say wrap it up for now and make sure people, Ralph, we're already connected and moving forward. And Teresa, please reach out.
Thank you. I can't believe the whole hour went by so fast.
Oh, that's good. That's the idea, because I'm so much fun right now. Part stand-up comic.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, Joyce. Definitely valuable information, and you're such a great resource for LinkedIn and Facebook, and just really appreciate you giving your talk today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
about coming attractions.
Just a heads up, on October 8th, I'll be doing my next tech coffee on the subject of cutting the cord and streaming. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up. Although I may drop from Eventbrite and just go with a Zoom registration for that kind of thing, and just send an email out to folks who have subscribed to, well, not subscribed, but who've signed up for my talks in the past on Eventbrite. Anyhow.
I think if you explain that to people when you send the email, and Brian CC people, obviously, you can say, been having some technical issues with the Eventbrite platform interface with Zoom. So I figured, I don't really need, since you kind of got a nice group going, you publicize it so well, I think then you build that up. And do you have a meetup group for this too?
I don't.
Wow, so there's a thought. I would give you a slot on my account, but I just sold it to somebody else. But you know what, just folks, in case you ever want to do this, you can get, Meetup does cost $98 every 6 months, but you were spending money on Eventbrite. But here's the thing, what you do, if you share that account, folks, with 2 other people or entities, you can have up to 3 different groups, let's call them, that cooperatively share one account. Now, that person who owns the Meetup account will always be shown as the organizer, which might confuse the heck out of the folks who are in a group where she never appears. Like, who is that Joyce lady? We always see her on the left, But then what I do is I make that person for that entity where I'm not really interested in it, I just make them a co-organizer, and I shut down all my notifications having to do with that particular group, and they just send me $33, every 6 months. So I just throw that idea out there so you all know that that's possible. And that's how I've run my meetup group. Will be 3 years old in December. And I don't have a lot of people. I don't know, maybe 250, something like that. But that is another way. And then I collect the emails when people come to, when we met in person, I collect the emails. And of course, we collect them in the chat like here. And then I just have a little distribution group that I send out to people. I don't run it through my MailChimp. I just feel they're going to probably more likely read it if I send it. If they get annoyed with me, they just tell me to take them off. Well, if they drop out of the meetup group, they drop out, I automatically go over the distribution group and take them out of the distribution. So that's been a way that I've reached out to my circle, like would be comparable to you, Patrick, for this. So
Gotcha.
one idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well, everybody, thanks.
Okay.
again.
Thanks,
Oh, yeah,
thanks a lot.
thanks
Patrick,
for joining today.
yeah, Patrick, you and I are on
Yes.
Tuesday, and Joyce, you're going to be correcting my homework tomorrow.
That's right, I will be. Yeah, and Teresa, I hope you meet
And-
up soon.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
and Teresa, nice to meet you.
Great.
Nice to meet you, Ralph.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Everybody,
Bye
stay
now.
safe.
Thank you.